Okay. Certain places are playing the blame game, blaming China, blaming this place, blaming that place, or blaming politicians. Nobody thought of putting some of the blame on how the United Nations is set up. Not blaming the United Nations, but blaming how it's set up. Because think of the basics of why the United Nations was set up. They were set up so there would be a global group that could solve problems globally. The pandemic is a global problem. Now let's play Dream World. Let's say the United Nations actually had some teeth where they could go. Okay, a quarter or a third of every country's taxes or wealth, or like every country sends a third of whatever kind of money they can into one pot. Then they send the best doctors, the best scientists, the best gene therapy, the smartest people they have to one place. So we have the best minds on the planet with money being no object, working towards one thing. Not different people in different countries working towards it separately. The best people on the planet working towards it together, and money not being an object. We'd have a vaccine. Now, let's take this a step further. A city and a town in a small place gets a pandemic running through it. That town gets locked down, right? It just makes sense. Let's put this on a global scale. Let's say in a city, 1,000, 2,000 people would have got it. What if the United Nations had the power to lock down that city? Nobody in or out except doctors. Testing daily. The number goes down, the doors get opened. Where nothing goes in or out of that country besides doctors and food. Or city besides doctors and food. Now, with that kind of money and research, and those kind of rules on people moving around, maybe we wouldn't have thousands, if not billions, of dead by now. Instead of leaving it up to politicians that can't even make a decision whether the ice cap's melting and the ozone layer getting a giant hole in it is a bad thing. Leaving it up to politicians is why the planet is fucked. So when there's a global crisis like a pandemic, leaving it up to the people that won't save the planet is stupid. Now, I get the United Nations was built so nobody would use atom bombs. But let's do a survey. The first three or four nukes, I think it was 3, that got dropped, that actually did damage in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and I know there's a couple other that countries dropped anyway. Add up the people that died there. Scratch that. Add up all the people that died in every nuclear disaster within the last 5 years, 10 years even. Before the United Nations got put together. All those people. Yeah, there's millions. Now, add up all the people that are dying thanks to the pandemic globally. Now, add that to the amount of people starving because certain countries are poor, and we don't know how to share the wealth and the food. Add that on to how much the people are dying just because of random corruption, random politicians being bought off by cartel or being bought off by big oil, or being bought off by companies that are fucking up the ozone layer. Add up those deaths. Now, what number do you think is honestly bigger? So, if the United Nations can stop people from nuking the planet, Why can't we give them teeth to actually save the planet?